students, let us start with a new phylum, Phylum Mollusca. The organisms that belong to this phylum are called as soft-bodied animals. Some of the mollusks that you know of are snail, slugs, octopus, squids / calamari. You've eaten calamari, right? Clams and mussels. These shelled animals which can be opened into two parts. Clams called as tisrya in Marathi, then mussels which are called as shiranya in Marathi. Very tasty delicacies. So all these soft-bodied animals with or without a shell belong to phylum Mollusca. This is the second largest phylum after phylum Arthropoda. Second largest phylum after phylum Arthropoda. Habitat. Most of the species of mollusks are marine aquatic, but many species are found terrestrial also. Example, the snail, or they can be aquatic, both freshwater and marine. Level of organization. They have organ system level organization. Then symmetry is bilateral symmetry. It can be slightly different in certain classes, we will discuss later. Coelom. They do have a true coelom, eucoelomate. However, true coelom is restricted to certain places only within their body. Is restricted to heart, which is called the pericardial cavity. Their gonads or sex organs, and around their kidneys. These are the three places around which true coelom will be found. In the rest of the parts of the body, there will not be true coelom, there will be hemocoel instead. You know what is hemocoel, right? Fluid filled cavity. In other parts, hemocoel present. Segmentation. Segmentation is absent in mollusks. Next, body form. A typical mollusk is a soft-bodied animal and it will be with or without a calcareous shell. Soft, unsegmented body with or without a calcareous shell. Calcareous means made up of CaCO3. So this is the body of a typical mollusk. Okay, it can be divided into three different parts. This part is called the head. This is the second part, which is called as the visceral hump, and this is the third part, which is called as the muscular foot. What is the purpose of these three different parts? Let us see. So the head has these eyes. These are the eyes. The actual eyes are on top of these stalk-like structures. These stalk-like structures are called as omatophores. Okay, and the eyes are situated on top of the omatophores. Apart from that, these two small tentacles will be seen. Tentacles which will be sensory in nature, sensory to touch and smell. This is the mouth, and inside their oral cavity, there will be a very serrated kind of a tongue. Okay, you can call it like a fusion of tongue and teeth together, which will help it in scraping off the moss and the algae, etc. to eat its food basically by scraping off the surface. This serrated organ that they have in their buccal cavity is known as a radula. Radula can be defined as a serrated organ present in buccal cavity. It's used for scraping, rasping. Rasping means scraping only. Important. So head has the eyes, tentacles and the mouth. Has eyes, sensory tentacles for touch, smell, and they have the mouth. The mouth has the radula. Second, we talk about the visceral hump. So this mass over here is the visceral hump. The shaded part is the shell. Let us say we remove the shell for now. So this part over here is the visceral hump. The visceral hump mainly comprises the digestive tract and all the other visceral organs. This visceral hump is covered on the outside by a very soft and spongy kind of a skin, okay, which is very protective in nature, and it is highly glandular. It is this thick skin that will secrete this shell. It is very soft and spongy kind of in nature. This skin that covers the visceral hump is known as the mantle. Very important. So we say that visceral hump has digestive system plus other visceral organs. The visceral hump is covered by a soft, spongy skin which is mainly protective, and also it secretes the shell. The shell, as you know, is calcareous in nature. The shell can be either external. In some mollusks it is internal shell, and in some mollusks the shell is absent. External shell, example, Pila, Unio. Internal shell, Sepia, absent in octopus. At the posterior end, you see that there is anus, and there is a cavity at one place which is between the mantle and the shell. There is a cavity between the mantle and the shell. This cavity is called as the mantle cavity. What is so special about this mantle cavity is that in the aquatic mollusks, for example, there is one aquatic mollusk called Aplysia or sea hare. In the aquatic mollusks, inside this mantle cavity, there will be presence of feather-like gills. Okay, these feather-like gills which are there in the mantle cavity are called as gills or ctenidia. Feather-like gills present in mantle cavity in aquatic mollusks. They are mainly meant for respiration and excretion. In the terrestrial mollusks, instead of gills, lungs will be present, also called as pulmonary sac. See, mantle cavity, this is the space between mantle and shell. What happens in some mollusks? During the course of their growth, because of the formation of this shell, the visceral hump turns like this to 180 degrees. The visceral hump turns to 180 degrees. This is called as torsion, which is seen in most of the mollusks, and because of this, the ctenidia and the anus, which were previously on the posterior end of the body, will now surface at the anterior end of the body. So the anus will be very close to their mouth in majority of the mollusks, including the snail. And finally, we have the muscular foot. What can we say about the muscular foot? It is a muscular organ which is meant for locomotion. The snail moves very slowly. It will be highly glandular. It will be secreting slime which will help it in gliding slowly. Just one foot. Can you imagine walking with one foot gliding? But this is the only thing that they have. So a muscular foot which is meant for locomotion as well as for burrowing as well. So muscular foot is meant for locomotion plus burrowing. So that is it from their body structures. I didn't write here. The visceral hump is covered by a soft spongy skin. The soft spongy skin is called as the mantle. Next, digestive system. They have a complete digestive system with extracellular digestion. One prominent digestive gland that is found in mollusks is known as hepatopancreas. Hepatopancreas is a prominent digestive gland found in mollusks. Why is it called as hepatopancreas? Hepato means liver, pancreas means pancreas. It is called so because it performs the function of both liver as well as the pancreas. It will secrete digestive juices. This is important for AIIMS. Anus, due to torsion, orients towards the anterior side. Anus directed to anterior end due to torsion. Torsion is 180 degree turning. Next we talk about respiratory system. You know that there are gills which are called as ctenidia in aquatic forms, and in the terrestrial forms there is a lung also called as a pulmonary sac in terrestrial forms. Just a single lung will be present. Next, circulatory system. The circulatory system is an open type of circulatory system, and the blood that they have will be having a pigment in them. The arthropods did not have any pigment in their blood, and the pigment is called as hemocyanin. It's a copper containing pigment and it will be blue in color. Compare it with hemoglobin that we have. Hemoglobin is an iron containing pigment, but hemocyanin that these people have is a copper containing pigment and will be blue in color because of the copper component. Blood is blue color, has a copper containing pigment which is called as hemocyanin, and this blood will be present in the hemocoel. Blood is presented in their hemocoel. So the mollusks are blue-blooded animals. Cool. Excretory system. One clear evidence that mollusks may have evolved from annelida-like ancestors and not arthropoda ancestors is that mollusks also have the presence of nephridia for excretion. There will be one pair of very complex nephridia which are called as metanephridia inside them. In the platyhelminths there were protonephridia. In the annelida there were metanephridia which were present in many numbers in each segment. In mollusks also there is presence of metanephridia, but there is just one pair of metanephridia, also called as their kidneys, also called as the organs of Bogenus. Bogenus, named after the discoverer. One pair of metanephridia / kidneys, also called as organs of Bogenus. This is important for AIMS. They are amonotelic in aquatic forms. The terrestrial forms are known to be ureotelic. Please write one exception to this circulatory system. Except for one class of mollusca called as class Cephalopoda, to which the octopuses belong to, which has a closed circulatory system. All the other mollusks have open type circulatory system. Exception is Cephalopoda, which has closed type circulatory system. Next, we talk about nervous system. Their nervous system will have paired ganglia and nerves similar to the ancestors. Sense organs. What type of sense organs they have? They have eyes, they have statocysts for balance, and there is one important sense organ which is called as osphradium in them, okay, which helps them in testing the water in which they are present. Osphradium, okay, this is a sense organ for testing the water, the chemical composition, the salt concentration of the water, etc. It helps in testing the water. This is important for AIMS. Next, reproduction. These are dioecious. Fertilization is either internal or external. It will be external in the aquatic forms and it is internal in the terrestrial forms. Plus this class called Cephalopoda. They are mainly oviparous and the development can be either direct or indirect. Direct example is Loligosepia, or it can be indirect, and the larva that is involved is of two types, trochophore larva, also one more is there, Beliger larva. These details are necessary for AIMS. Let's list some important examples. There is Pila or apple snail because it looks like an apple. Then there is pink tada, pearl oyster from which oysters are harvested, sepia, cuttlefish, aplysia, sea hare, loligo, squid, octopus, the devilfish. Octopus is a scientific name, by the way. Then there is dentalium, tusk shell, called as tusk shell because of the way it looks like an elephant's tusk. Chetoplura, chiton. These examples are important. These are from NCERT. And with that, we have covered the general characteristics of mollusca. In the next class, we will be discussing the different classes of mollusca.
In the name of Lord Mahadev, please subscribe.